Big Red 3/10 here again with his first on-camera video in about 2 weeks. And I'm just here to give a quick vid, not a quick vid, this vid will probably be decently long, on King of Trios. Chikara's biggest event of the year. This year, Chikara released the DVDs within 24 hours. That's insane. That's another reason why I say this is my favorite indie company. It's not just that it's my favorite indie company because of wrestling content as far as storylines and characters goes, but they get their DVDs out faster than anybody, and the shipping is also faster than anybody. I get my Chikara DVDs 2 to 3 days. One time, I ordered my DVDs on a Monday morning, and I got them on a Wednesday. That's pretty freaking great. And now I'm here showing off King of Trios. I know some people haven't gotten theirs yet. There were a lot of orders. Chikara said they broke their record for single day orders by a long shot. So that doesn't surprise me. These 3 nights will probably end up being the three. Oh great, someone's calling me. The 3 most selling DVDs in Smart Mark Video history. It's 3. I mean, really, these DVDs are gonna go boom like that. They're gonna be selling fast, and yeah, most selling DVDs in Smart Mark Video history. And yes, if you're wondering, that little edit was because I had to answer that phone call. Just so you know. Being honest with all my subscribers. Alright, let's get started and let's talk about King of Trios and whether or not I think you should buy it. Before I tell you whether or not I think you should buy them, I'm just going to let you know that I will always recommend buying King of Trios every year. And yes, all 3 nights. If you want individual overall scores, look in the description box. I have those individual show ratings. Like if you just want to buy night 2 or night 3, I don't understand why, but there are people who just buy night 1, which makes no sense to me. Why would you, if you're only going to buy one of the 3, why would you only buy night 1? That literally makes no sense to me at all. But yeah, I always recommend buying all 3. Definitely worth the price. It's just the price of, it's Chikara's WrestleMania. And it's cheaper than the actual WrestleMania to buy all 3 shows. Their shows are $15 a pop, so all 3 are going to cost you $45, which is a great deal. And when there's discounts, the discounted rate, like 25% off, then you can get them for like $36 or something like that. So an amazing deal for 3 shows. And I definitely recommend getting all 3. The experience you get from watching all 3 nights is just incredible. It's so much fun. These shows are so much fun to sit through. While wrestling quality is there, the comedy and fun is just amazing. You have so much fun watching King of Trios. It's ridiculous. I have more fun watching King of Trios than any other show of the entire year. And I mean that. King of Trios is that much fun to me. I thoroughly enjoy it. I've seen this year's, last year's, most of 2009's. I still haven't seen night 1 of 2009. I've seen half of 2008. I haven't seen the other half. I have it up there, waiting to be seen. And I've seen Tag World Grand Prix 2005. So, all those experiences are just so much fun. Even if you know the results. I personally don't like to know spoilers because I have more fun without knowing them. But it's not like if you know the results, you won't have fun. You have so much fun. This tournament is so wacky and zany, and there's so much fun and so much great wrestling. That's the reason why I love Chikara. It's not just that it's a lot of fun. It's a hybrid. In this show, you get talent from Japan, from kind of Mexico, sort of, not really. From the Midwest, from the West Coast, from the East Coast, from fucking Australia. Everywhere. All different styles of wrestling. And that's what makes the tournament so much fun. You literally get talent from fucking everywhere. I love the Boulder tournament. I kind of like the ECWA tournament this year. Not the one last year. This year. And someone give me a quick... Oh, I fucking hate Survival of the Fittest. Another tournament. Quickly. Best of Super Juniors. I love those tournaments. But those tournaments usually only have one style. Even in PWG, technically those guys are from different... They do, like Chris Hero wrestles a different style than El Generico does. However, they're all from the same company. They're all from the same brand. They all know how to wrestle PWG matches. This, literally, you get talent from everywhere. A total hybrid of wrestling, and it's just so much fun. That's why I get the tournament every year, no matter what. And that's why I recommend you get the tournament every year, no matter what. Don't look at my overall ratings and go, oh, night 1's only a 7.5. I should only get nights 2 and 3. Fuck no! You always get all 3 nights. Let's start off with King of Trios Night 1. The Transformers. This year it's Transformers themed. I wasn't a big Transformers fan as a kid, particularly because I was too young. But to actually have seen any of it live. But most people are. If this is your thing, these covers are pretty sick, I'm not going to lie. They are very, very cool. I like this one a lot. I don't know why, I just do. I guess this one's supposed to represent, like... This one, each Transformer is supposed to represent a wrestler. I'm presuming that is Manami Toyota, that is Jigsaw, and I guess that's Quack, just because I think that's Toyota. I think that's Jigsaw, and I think that's Quack. They did have the best match on the show. Alright, so for this tournament, we start off with 3.0 of the team of 3.0 and El Generico, who are an awesome tag team. 3.0 are so funny. They're probably one of my favorite tag teams right now. They're definitely the funniest. The funniest tag team in Chikara right now. And they team with El Generico to take on the Osirian Portal. This match was so much fun. A lot of great action, great spots, amazing comedy, El Generico comedy, which is very rare, but when it happens, like pure comedy. I don't mean like his stuff in PWG when he says, "Ole!" and the crowd laughs. No, I mean like legit comedy spots with him, which were awesome. And the Osirian Portal are such an amazing trio. They were my pick to win the whole tournament, and I thought they should have won the whole tournament. Now, we'll see how I feel after the show. Once you hear my reviews of all 3 shows, I'll tell you how I felt on Osirian Portal afterwards. But they did win this match, and they had a great showing. Huracan looks really, really good. I really enjoy his work. He adds so much to the Osirian Portal trio. Osirian Portal were getting kind of stale. I don't want to say that they were getting boring, because they're never boring. Their style simply doesn't allow that. However, it was just the same old thing for 3 years. Osirian Portal. Sure, they were heels, face, but it was just, it was time for a change. It was time for something new. And Huracan allowed something new to happen. Huracan helped something new happen by, he presents a different dynamic to the team, and he adapts very well. And these 6 guys had a great match. Or not a great match, a really good match. A very fun opener to King of Trios. And I'm looking over my predictions right now, so I see how I did. I got this one right. Osirian Portal beating 3.0. Then we got F.I.S.T versus Team Australia. There's a big controversy over Twitter. Not really a controversy. Everyone's in agreement except me. Everyone said that Team Australia was horrible. I didn't think they were that bad. Kabel and Percy, I thought they were all right. I didn't think they were horrible. It's not like they were botching things left and right. They were just average. They didn't show anything you couldn't see from a basic indie show. To me, they were just basic. They weren't good, but they weren't bad either. Like, some people were really crapping on them. I didn't think they were bad. I thought they were just kind of there. And this is no offense to them if they're watching this video. No offense to you guys, but in Chikara, when you compare you guys against all that talent they have, you guys just didn't impress that much. I'm sorry. That's just the truth. I'm speaking from the heart here. Tama Williams, I thought, looked really impressive. And in like the 2 minutes he got the show, he looked really athletic, and I wanted to see more of him. I'll get to him later on. So I was kind of upset that he didn't get to show off more. Percy T was in most of the match. The match was just kind of all right. I would say 2 3/4 stars. It was fine. It was just basic. F.I.S.T beat them handedly, like I predicted they would. So far, I'm 2-0. Then we got the BDK versus the Soul Touchaz. This one was the hardest one for me to predict because this one could have gone either way. But in hindsight, I really should have seen that the BDK were going to win this match. But this match was the worst match. The second worst match in all 3 shows. I thought the Archibald Peck match was worse. But that's not really fair because that match was just like 5 minutes with Colt Cabana. I mean, it wasn't really much. Just my star rating is lower. But this was the worst trios match. It wasn't that fun. It was pretty basic. Tim Donst was working over, I think it was Marche or Acid. Willie got a hot tag, and then they like wrestled for 2 more minutes, and then it just ended. The ending was really good. I did like the ending, where the referee's distracted with Tim Donst because Tim Donst threw a chair in the ring. Tim Donst grabbed a chair. The referee was distracted with him Because I think Acid Jazz had just laid out Jacob Hammermier, and Touchaz came in the ring and splashed Acid Jazz, and he put Jacob Hammermier over him, and Jacob Hammermier got the pin. It was an all-right match, I guess, 2.5. Next we get the match of the night. Amazing Red and the Maximos versus Mike Quackenbush, Jigsaw, Manami, Toyota. This was so much fun. I really enjoyed this match. I enjoyed everything about this match. I just thought it was so much fun, so enjoyable. Everything about it was just really good. Amazing Red looked great. The Maximos, who looked a lot bigger than when I last seen them, like wider. They looked pretty impressive as well. I mean, yeah, like I said, they weren't. It looked like they had put on a few pounds, but they were still holy crap impressive. I did not expect them to be that good. That whole team, Amazing Red and the Maximos, gets my vote for most impressive team that I did not expect to do that well. Yeah, awards, PS Power Style. But yeah, the Mike Quackenbush, Jigsaw, and Toyota were a great combination, and the ending to this match was tremendous. Mike Quackenbush, at the start of the show, they had this amazing Larry Sweeney tribute, like this 3-minute video that was awesome, and then they pan to the ring where all the Chikara guys are around the ring and they're patting the mat, and they're getting the crowd to chant sweet and sour, and you can look at certain wrestlers who are crying. It was awesome. It was a great moment. They gave a 10-bell salute throughout the video. And in this match, Mike Quackenbush, he gave Joel Maximo, I think, the 68 comeback special, which was Larry Sweeney's finisher, where he gets him for a neck breaker, and then he gets him for a neck breaker, like kind of gives him sort of a neck breaker, and then spins around, gives him in a DDT, DDTs him, and then Jigsaw, who was on the top rope, gave a 12 large "We Love You, Larry Sweeney" memorial when he dropped the elbow, which is what Larry Sweeney used to do. He gave a nice elbow off the top rope, and they pinned Joel Maximo. The crowd went insane, like insane. They chanted sweet and sour. Quack was crying in the ring. Like, you could see him. He was just, like, really trying to fight back tears. And it was just an amazing moment. I really enjoyed that ending. It added a lot to the match. It was the match of the night, in my opinion. Just great performances from everybody. Next, we got the third best match of the night, the Spectral Envoy versus Team Dragon Gate. This was just a really fun match. Dragon Gate guys were really impressive. Ultramantis Black was kind of impressive, too. Just a basic, really fun trios match. Not much to say. Then we got my favorite match of the night, the second best match of the night, Mac Classic and the Throwbacks versus Team Osaka Pro. This match was insane. This is the funniest Chikara match I have seen in so long. Don't let that rating fool you just because it says 3.5. The actual like comedy star rating was like 4 3/4. It was that good. Like, it was just hilarious. I could not stop laughing throughout this match. It was just so many things they did. Atsushi Kotoge taking foul shots, Mac Classic being Mac Classic, slap contests. I really don't want to ruin the comedy. It was just so funny. I was dying of laughter. I know True Slayer also really liked this match. He was also dying of laughter. This was just absolutely hilarious. Everyone needs to see this match. Like, needs to see this match. Sorry about that. I was checking something on my phone. They need to see this match. This match is just so fucking funny. Like, seriously. Hilarious. I don't want to ruin it. Go watch that match. Then we got the Colony versus the Batiri. I think I like this match a little more than most people because I don't mind when the Batiri is on offense. I know a lot of people don't. I've heard a lot of people complain about Sin Bodhi and Obarian and Kadama when they're working over someone, saying the match gets kind of boring. Not in my opinion. In my opinion, I don't know. I guess it's because Mike Quackenbush is my second favorite wrestler in the world behind Bryan Danielson, and almost everybody on this show is trained by Mike Quackenbush. So maybe that's probably why I never get bored during Chikara matches, because it's like Mike Quackenbush is in the ring just to a far lesser extent, but he's still somewhat there. I'll get to that when I get to the Colony. But yeah, I really don't mind it when Obarian and Kadama are on offense. I know some people hate it, but I don't. So I can see some people not liking this match. I thought it was fun. I enjoyed it. I like the comeback the Colony made. I can never, ever get bored when the Colony wrestle, ever. And I think a lot of that has to do with Mike Quackenbush. Green Ant in particular, his style is very similar to Mike Quackenbush's. And whenever he's in the ring, I'm never bored. I'm always glued to my screen because I think they're that good. So yeah, just thoroughly enjoyed this match. 3.25 stars. Next we got Team Minnesota. Eric Cannon, Darren Corbin, and the 1-2-3 Kid versus Team Michinoku Pro. The Great Sasuke, Dick Togo, and Jinsei Shinzaki. I thought this match was really good as well. I gave it 3.5. I originally gave it 3.25, but I bumped it up because of the funny thing that Darren Corbin did. Like, at the start, I said, Oh my god, Darren Corbin looks kind of out of place with all these stars. Well, maybe Eric Cannon, whether or not he's a star compared to X-Pac, the great Sasuke, Dick Togo, and Jinsei Shinzaki. But he's still like he still used to be a big player in Chikara, so I consider him that he belongs. Darren Corbin, I was like, oh my god, this guy's, what's he doing there? And he did this amazing spot where like he turned the match to slow-mo, because that's like his superpower in Chikara. He can make it slow motion, and he was going in super slow-mo, and he was with the great Sasuke, who was also going in super slow-mo. And like the ref counted really slow, and the crowd chanted, "This is awesome." Just really, really funny shit. And it made for an amazing spot towards the end of the match. A comedy match with great Sasuke, Dick Togo, and Jinsei Shinzaki. He never expected. And with X-Pac either. 1, 2, 3 looked really impressive here. Not as impressive as Night 3. We'll get to that. But he still looked hella impressive here. And these guys had a really fun match. 3.5 stars. Kind of disappointing. I thought this would be a little better. Maybe because it was the main event and it was given more time than any other match on the show. Like the Amazing Red, my Quackenbush match, that opening round match, that match was given like 12 minutes. This one was given like 18, 19. And I thought it would be like a great match. But it was still really good. I'm not going to complain. So yeah, really, really fun. The whole show I'd give a 7.75. It's just, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 matches that I consider really good or better. 3.5 stars is really good under my words to star rating translation. Yeah, the second and third trios opening match weren't that good. They could have been better. And the Connie Baturi match I thought was fine. I thought that was a pretty good match. But I know people might not have liked it. But still, just so much fun. Like I said, so much great comedy, interaction, mix. And there's even a lot of really good wrestling matches. So I'm giving the first night a 7.75. Now, it's only a 7.75 if you get the next 2 shows. If you just consider the show by itself, maybe 7.5. But if you're getting the next 2 shows, yeah, 7.75. Definitely. Good stuff. Next we got that was night 1. Next we got night 2. I have no idea what this is supposed to be. I'm presuming that is Touchaz. Jeez, let me try to figure this out. I'm presuming that's my Quackenbush. Fuck. I think that's Green Ant? I don't know. This one I can't really. I think this one is just a lot of different characters because there's so many guys on this one. But this cover looks pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. And night 2 was great. However, it's disappointing. I know that sounds weird because it was great. The rating is an 8.25. That's a good rating. But kind of disappointing because night 2 for King of Trios every year usually is the best night of the whole tournament. I heard it was like that in 2008. I haven't seen that show myself, so I can't judge. Night 2 of 2009 was one of the best Chikara shows of the year, and Night 2 last year was the best show of that whole weekend. So I always expect Night 2 to be something special, and this one wasn't really. It was just a great show, which I guess, oh, it's great. You can't complain. Whatever. But I only gave it an 8 out of 10. I only bumped it up because, I don't know. Like, if you take away the fact that this show has a 4-star match, its ratings, top to bottom, aren't as good as Night 1's. So I might bump it down to an 8.0, but we'll see about that. Archibald Pack versus Colt Cabana. I talked about this. This was like just a regular like 8-minute match. Wasn't much to it. I did not think it should have been the opener. I thought that was a bad idea. I thought definitely if the F.I.S.T match opened the show, that would have been something special because that would have definitely been opener of the year. As much as I love Cole and O'Reilly and Kings of Wrestling. But yeah, I didn't think this should have opened the show, but I still thought it was a fine match. 2 stars. Next, we get F.I.S.T versus Osaka Pro. This was great. F.I.S.T is my vote for MVP of the entire tournament. Purely because the first match, I agree, wasn't that great, but the next 2 matches were great, and the 2 best matches of the whole tournament. And it was just, I guess Osirian Portal would be another candidate too, because they had 3 really good matches in a row. But this match in particular was just awesome, man. I really loved this. I actually liked this more than the F.I.S.T Osaka Pro match from last year. Now, I thought the F.I.S.T Osaka Pro match from last year was overrated, so maybe I'm not the best judge for that, but I thought this was that good. It was just great action, tremendous. I love the ending. Basically, Chuck Taylor goes through the ropes and rolls up Ultimate Spider Jr. and grabs the tights, because last year Osaka Pro got the tights because they were doing a series where Chuck Taylor kept grabbing everybody's tights last year. So Osaka Pro grabbed his tights to win the match. And this year Chuck Taylor did it to them and to win the match. And then he and Johnny Gargano and Icarus had that face. Sorry about that. All three of them just had this face like, ah, we got away with it, bitches, yeah, and they ran away, and it just continued this storyline of F.I.S.T cheating in King of Trios. Osaka Pro looked upset, and it was a great match. I thoroughly enjoyed this match of the night for me. Next, we got the Rey of Voladores, and this is where I have a problem with the show for a little bit. El Generico, Marche Rocket, Pinky Sanchez, Zack Sabre Jr. Okay, Rey of Voladores, usually, there's 8 guys in total, 2 4-way matches. Usually, in a Rey of Voladores, they get one person from each of the teams that lost in night 1. This year, they didn't get a team from Matt Classic and the Throwbacks. Understandable. None of those guys really are flyers. I mean, they got Oberion, but that's really pushing it, that he's a high flyer from Oberion, Kadama, and Sin Bodhi. Matt Classic and the Throwbacks, and Team Australia. In my opinion, instead of getting a member from those 2 teams, they got Pinky Sanchez, who wasn't in night 1, and Zack Sabre Jr. Pinky Sanchez contributed to the match because Derek Sabato was the referee, and he was being partial towards Pinky Sanchez winning the match. Pinky Sanchez has a role. Zack Sabre Jr. did not. And I love Zack Sabre Jr. I love Zack Sabre Jr. But he did not belong in this match. I don't know why Chikara brought him in for a Rey de Voladores match that he wasn't even going to win, that he wasn't even going to play a role in. He kind of just got eliminated just like that, like he was insignificant. I really didn't see the point of bringing him in for this match. I thought, in my opinion, they should have used Tama Williams, who didn't get to showcase himself that much in night 1. He should have been in this spot because you already brought that team in. You might as well use them. Osaka Pro and Team Dragon Gate wrestled on all 3 nights. Freaking who else was on the show that lost? That's not a Chikara talent. Manami Toyota wrestled all 3 nights. The Michinoku Pro guys, they wrestled all 3 nights. All your foreign talent wrestled all 3 nights except Team Australia. Now, understandably so, Team Australia wasn't that good. But Tama Williams, I thought, was that good. And if you didn't put Zack Sabre Jr. and you instead put, like, Sugar Dunkerton, who's not really a high flyer, I would disagree, but I can understand because you're trying to get a guy from, each team. And Pinky Sanchez, you need a BDK guy in the match. But Zack Sabre Jr., why? He didn't contribute to the match. Why would you bring him in just for this match? It made no sense to me. When you have freaking Tama Williams, who you brought in, and you didn't showcase that much, you could have put him in this spot. It just makes more sense to me. I'm sorry. Now, maybe Tama Williams turned it down. I don't know. But I just... Even if it's not Tama Williams, why would you bring in Zack Sabre Jr. for this match? If Zack Sabre Jr. won this match, okay, that makes more sense because you brought him in for night 2 and for night 3. But he didn't really add a lot to it. My personal opinion, I disagreed with him being in this match. I thought, bad decision. But the match was really, really good. The storyline with Derek Sabato and Pinky Sanchez and El Generico fighting to win the match was tremendous. El Generico eventually did beat Pinky Sanchez after Wink Vavasour came down and told Derek Sabato to take off his BDK referee shirt, and he had to wear a Chikara referee shirt. And the next night, he refereed, I forget what match it was, I think it was F.I.S.T Michinoku Pro. He refereed that match, and I didn't even know he was in the match till like halfway through it, because I didn't recognize him, because when he doesn't wear the BDK shirt, I can't recognize him. But that storyline was great. It made the match really, really fun, and I gave it 3.5 stars for that reason. Next, we got Osirian Portal versus Team Dragon Gate. This I predicted to be the finals. Oh, I forgot. In my first round predictions, I picked Team Dragon Gate. I got that right. I picked F.I.S.T. I got that right. I picked Michinoku Pro. I got that right. I got the Soul Touchers wrong. Quackenbush I got right. Osirian Portal I got right. And Osaka Pro I got right. So I got the Soul Touchers and Bodhi and Batiri wrong. Colony losing in the first round. How intelligent of me. All right. And the second round's even worse. Well, because Wikipedia had a bracket. I said this in my predictions video. Wikipedia had a bracket, and I didn't know if that bracket was official. These picks, my predictions, were going by what was in the bracket. And the bracket clearly wasn't official because my finals that I predicted was Osirian Portal versus Dragon Gate, and they fought in the second round. If I'd known the proper bracket, I probably would have made different predictions. If I'd known the Colony would have ended up fighting the BDK, I guarantee you I would have put the Colony in the semifinals immediately. So... whatever. That's why I didn't trust my picks that much. But yeah, this match was exactly what you'd expect it to be. Osirian Portal Dragon Gate. 6 awesome guys going out there and having a really fun match. And that's really all I'm going to say about the match because it was just great. What do you expect? It's these guys. It's exactly what you think it would be. Just so much fun. Next one, Eric Cannon versus Eddie Kingston. This was like, how do I say this? This match was like the last 6 minutes of a 20-minute Eric Cannon Eddie Kingston match. Like there wasn't much build. Like, immediately, they just had Eric Cannon hitting, like, his finishers on Eddie. Eddie making his comeback from the finishers and hitting his own finishers. And that was the match. It was a fun match. It was a different dynamic. I never really seen a match like that before. I'm just saying, it was just, like, very short. And it was like they had previously done 10 minutes of selling. It was like this match, but without the selling. It was just straight to the finishes, which worked, in my opinion. I thought in this match it worked. It wasn't spotty. It wasn't overkill. It worked. Because you can tell Eddie Kingston was sad. Larry Sweeney was one of his best friends. And, you know, he wasn't in the mood to wrestle a full match. And he was pissed. And for right when they lock up, he hits a backdrop driver, you know. And I thought it worked. 2 3/4. Good stuff. Next we got the Colony versus the BDK. This was a great story. Match was good, not like totally impressive. This was probably like my third least favorite trios match. But I still enjoyed this match. Green Ant's always fun to watch. And in this match, because in the Conclave that day, there was a challenge to body slam Touchaz, and no one could do it. And Green Ant, who wore USA pants to model after the Lex Luger Yokozuna storyline from 1993, he wore USA pants. He got Touchaz off his feet, but Jakob Hammermier chop blocked him, and he didn't get to body slam Touchaz. So in this match, Touchaz was going to slam Green Ant like he did Acid Jazz the night before, but Green Ant moved out of the way and he slammed. Touchaz jumped onto Jakob Hammermier. And then Green Ant body slammed Touchaz to a mega pop. Like, mega pop. The crowd exploded when he did that. I exploded when he did that. I was like, holy shit! Like, it was insane the way that whole thing came off. And then he gave Jakob a torture rack for the submission. I didn't like that. I thought he should have gotten the pin. I don't know, because getting the pin over a submission like that would get a big response from the crowd. But he was trying to model after the Lex Luger storyline, so it makes perfect sense for him to finish the match with a torture rack. So I'm not going to totally complain. But and yeah, good match, really good, pretty good match. Just thought it could have been a little better, but still, that ending bumped it up for me. That ending was really something special. Then we get the other Raid of Oradors match. This one was also good. In my opinion, not as good as the other one just because it didn't have the Zabato storyline in there. As far as wrestling quality, I thought it was just as good as the first one. But the Zabato storyline bumps the first one up for me. This one was still fun. 1, 2, 3 Kid looked impressive in this match. Amazing Red looked hell of impressive. And Frightmare looked good too. O'Brien looked alright too. And I really enjoyed this match. Not much to say. 1, 2, 3 Kid got the win to a really good pop. 3 1/4. Then we got the match. Mike Quackenbush, Jigsaw, Manami, Toyota versus the Great Sasuke, Dictoto, and Jinsei Shinzaki. This match was really, really good. And if you're a fan of Puro in the 90s, you will love this match. Like, I know Josh, I know Brian, and Truth Slayer both were going crazy over this match because they got to see Great Sasuke, Dictoto, and Jinsei Shinzaki and Manami Toyota in the same ring in the United States. That's insane. There are just at moments, like if you just sit back and realize, holy shit, all these guys are in the ring right now, it becomes something special. Now I was not there to watch Puro in the 90s. In fact, of these guys' matches, the only matches I've seen, I'm going to be straight up honest with you, of Sasuke, Togo, and Jinsei Shinzaki are the matches they had in the States. I still haven't seen any of their matches from Japan yet. So to me, it wasn't that big of a deal because I didn't live through that. But I could recognize how important this was to wrestling history, even though I didn't mark out myself. But the match was really, really good. I had a lot of fun with it. It didn't really elevate to that like amazing pace, but it was still like I said, it was just still a really, really good match. They all exchanged a lot of nice counters to each other. And it was just a lot of fun to watch. You know, it was nice to watch something historically important as this. It was a really good match. Overall, the show gets an 8.25. A great match, 2 really, really, really good quarterfinals. And then another good, really pretty good quarterfinals. A really good Raid of Oradors, a pretty good Raid of Oradors, a really fun, like, 6-minute Eric Ken and Eddie Kingston match, which was all finishers, but it worked. And, you know, a decent opening challenge that just went a little too long and shouldn't have opened the show. But still, great show overall. Like I said, there's so much good. And like I said, it was really fun to sit through and a lot of good comedy. That's why I bumped it up to an 8.25 as opposed to an 8 out of 10. But yeah, definitely great stuff from King of Trios Night 2. Not as good as last year's Night 2 or the Night 2 from the year before. And from what people tell me, or the Night 2 from the year before that. But still a pretty good Night 2. But Chikara more than made up for its not awesome Night 2 with its extremely awesome Night 3. Alright. I can obviously tell that one's supposed to be Fire Ant. I'm presuming this one's supposed to be Green Ant because the one on this one was also Green Ant. But I could be wrong on that one as well. And I don't know who that is. Yeah, I'm not good at translating wrestlers to Transformers. So excuse me, but yeah, this cover still looks pretty sick. So let's get to Night 3. Night 3 was awesome. Night 3 might be Chikara's show of the year. It doesn't have a great match and an awesome match like Creatures from the Tar Swamp, but it still has 2 back-to-back great matches. And look at the star ratings. It's ridiculous. I mean, good God. Like, every match on here, except one, is 3.5 or higher. That's insane. So I think I might just put it as my show of the year. We started with the Colonial Osirian Portal, which is officially my opener of the year. I really liked Kings of Wrestling, Cole and O'Reilly, but this one was just better. It was just a lot more fun. It was a lot more important. It was the semifinals of King of Trios. And it was just really, really enjoyable. And the finish to this match was insane. I don't want to ruin it. But when that finish happened, there's three points during the show when I jumped in the air, pushed my chair back, and ran to my bed and said, "Oh!" This was one of them. The finish to this match was one of them. I do not want to ruin it because I marked out so hard. But it was a really fun match. 3 3/4. Then we got F.I.S.T versus Michinoku Pro. Like I said earlier, Derek Sabato was the referee for this match. And F.I.S.T had to continue the storyline of cheating through King of Trios. They introduced the chair again. They introduced kicking someone in the balls. They introduced powder. They went all out cheating in this match. And Sabato was always distracted. You know how it is. And eventually, this was really good. This wasn't as good as Michinoku Pro's previous 2 matches, but it was still a really fun match. And I still really enjoyed it. Michinoku Pro had a great showing. To put on, at their age, to put on these quality matches 3 nights in a row, that's impressive. And F.I.S.T continued their streak of putting on a really good match. That's why they're my MVPs of the entire tournament. And this was especially fun. I really enjoyed this. I really enjoyed the storyline F.I.S.T was trying to tell. The match ended when Chuck Taylor threw powder in Great Sasuke's eyes when Sabato wasn't looking, and Icarus gave Sasuke a roll-up to win the match and to go to the finals. And again, when F.I.S.T won this match, they ran outside the ring and started making faces like, "We're better, yeah, we cheated, we know it." And then they went back, and it was great. And I did not expect F.I.S.T to go to the finals. That really caught me by surprise. We'll get to that later, though. Jigsaw versus Ultimate Spider Jr. This was fine. This was only given like 8 minutes. They didn't do much. What they did I thought was enjoyable, but I just thought the match was too short. But it was still fine, 2 3/4 stars. Next we get the Tag Gauntlet. This year's Tag Gauntlet was really good. This is the best Tag Gauntlet I've seen from Chikara because everything was different. The Soul Touchers, Eric Cannon, and Darren Corbin. You had the funny stuff with Darren Corbin stopping time again. The Soul Touchers looking cool. That was just a lot of fun. Then you had them against Oberen Kadama. Oberen hit the sick neck break on Darren Corbin. They had a fun little match. And then Throwbacks and Throwbacks fought Oberen and Kadama. And the Throwbacks had a really good match against Oberen and Kadama. And just a lot of fun. And then they beat Oberen and Kadama. And they got 3 points with that win. And then right after they got the win, Oberen kicked Sugar Dunkerton in the balls. I mean, not Sugar Dunkerton, Dasher Hatfield. And then Daisy Hayes and Sarah Del Rey beat the Throwbacks like in 2 seconds. And then Matt Classic and Darkness Crabtree. This was hilarious. Darkness Crabtree is this old-ass wrestler. And Matt Classic, his gimmick is he's a wrestler from the 1950s who was in a coma, I believe, for 50 years. And now he's wrestling in 2010. So he treated Daisy and Sarah like shit. Sarah and they were just ring girls and all this stuff. It was hilarious. And this match was so funny, the encounter between these two. Then Daisy and Sarah fought the Roughnecks, which was insane because that match was also a lot of fun. What was the spot? Oh, yeah. I really need to see a match between these two after seeing their encounters. They just had such great chemistry with each other. Brody Lee gave Sarah Del Rey like a black hole slam. Whenever Brody Lee hits that, it's over. Whenever Brody Lee hits that to a woman, it's over. He hits that spot and Sarah kicks out. That was spot number 2 where I was like, I put my chair back, I jumped into my pillow, and I was like, oh, no way! Because no one kicks out of that spot, especially a woman. See, that's the thing what Emerald Frozen 62 was talking about. In Chikara, finishers mean something. When someone kicks out of a finisher, it's a big fucking deal because that never happens. And that's why this was a big deal. And then if my memory serves me correctly, Brody and Grizzly won the match, I believe. And then Osaka Pro came out, which I thought was a really nice touch. I really liked that Osaka Pro was in this gauntlet. They beat Brody and Grizzly. Then they fought 3.0 in another good match. And then the Dragon Gate guys came in, and Dragon Gate and Osaka Pro just had like that match alone was probably 3 stars. Osaka Pro versus Dragon Gate. They had like a 3-star match on their own. It was just so much fun what they were having. Now the ending did kind of suck because Kotoge was pinning Shisa. And the ref counted 1, 2, 3, and then right at 3, Shisa kicked out. And the ref, and like the Osaka Pro guy thought the match kept going on, but the ref said, no, it's 3. Stop, it's 3. And right when he rings the bell, like Harada picks up Shisa and he's about to do a move on him. And then like the referee starts bringing him over and says, no, it's 3. The match is over. And you're just sitting there going, what? I think it was just miscommunication. I think Shisa didn't know that was supposed to be the end of the match. That's what I think. I thought it was just simple miscommunication. So I'm not going to penalize the match because the match was so much fun. Great comedy, great action, great wrestling. 3 3/4 stars. I thoroughly enjoyed this. And it flew like that. Like that. It did not feel like a 35-minute match, but it was. But it flew like that because it was that much fun. Then we got Manami Toyota versus Madison Eagles. Crowd was a little silent during this match. And I kind of sympathize with them. They're pretty tired after what they've seen for the past 3 days. But this match was really, really good, especially for a women's match. Manami Toyota was hell of impressive. She did really, really good in this match. And Madison Eagles impressed as well. I really like Madison Eagles' theme song, by the way. I've been singing it the entire day. Okay, enough of that. But yeah, Manami Toyota looked great. This wasn't as good as her match with Daisy back in September, but this was still really good. With a better crowd and with more time, it could have reached that level. I'm originally give it 3 1/4, but I bumped it up because I enjoyed it so much. And mark out moment number 3 when Manami Toyota hit her Cyclone Suplex on Madison and Madison kicked out. Boom! You guys know the drill by now. Chair back, run to the bed, into the pillows. Oh my God! Holy shit! Because I did not expect it to happen. Because Manami Toyota, and it was set up perfectly. As she hits the Cyclone Suplex, she kicks out. And then immediately after, she gives her like some move and Madison gets pinned. Yeah, okay, but still. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say, in the gauntlet match, Osaka Pro got 3 points. So they're challenging Quack and Jigsaw, which I think is awesome. I really like that. Yeah, all right, moving on. Manami, Madison, really good match, 3.5. Then we got Eddie Kingston and Akira Tozawa. I thought this was really good, but for whatever reason, I just wasn't as into it as I was the previous match. I liked the previous match more, actually. But this was still a really fun match. Tozawa, of course, is a beast. He might, at the end of this year, depending on how many more U.S. matches he wrestles, he might top Davey Richards because all his matches, not only when he's on the show does he have a great match, but he tends to have an amazing match. And if he continues to streak, he might top Davey Richards. And I love Davey Richards, but I think if Tozawa wrestles as consistently as he did, and he constantly just puts on these 4 1/4, 4.5 star matches, I mean, we may be looking at the next best in the world. I truly, truly believe that. I think he's that good. And so, yeah, Tozawa, great stuff from him. And Tozawa's like 20. Tozawa's like, what, 22, 23? He's also really young. Thoroughly enjoyed this match. 3.5 stars. Then we got El Generico versus 123 Kid. People live were raving about this. They were saying this was the best match of the whole weekend. In my opinion, it was the second best match of the whole weekend behind the finals, but that's just me. But people were saying how incredible this match was and how much effort 123 Kid gave, and he did. 123 Kid, I've said this many times. I've said this in his U-Shoot. I've said this in his Figure 4 Daily interview with Brian Alvarez a few weeks ago. Sean Waltman comes off as such a likable guy. I understand that he had this whole thing with the clique and his problems in Mexico, but he really does come off as a likable guy. Like, you hear this guy talk for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you're like, you know what? This guy isn't that bad. He comes off like a likable person, and he only further reiterated that point through this weekend. He truly showed like that he cared about Chikara, that he loved Chikara, that he was so happy that this weekend was one of the best weekends of his life, and he gave his heart in this match. He took some sick bumps that a 38, 39-year-old probably should not take, and I was greatly appreciated by his kindness in this match. This was just a great match. El Generico was great. 123 Kid was great. A lot of high-flying spots from both men. A lot of great false finishes. The crowd was going apeshit. Great match. 4 stars. Thoroughly enjoyed this. One of the best Chikara matches of the year. Thank you, 123 Kid, for your performance. Definitely great stuff. Then we got the finals of King of Trios. The Colony versus F.I.S.T. In the second round, the winners of the second round were the Osirian Portal, the Colony, F.I.S.T, and Team Ichinoku Pro. I had predicted Sin Bodhi and the Batiri, Dragon Gate, the Soul Touchers, and Osirian Portal. So 3 of those 4 teams were, not only were 3 of those 4 teams not in the semis, but 2 of those teams didn't even win the first match. And in the semis, I had Osirian Portal and Dragon Gate. I was wrong there, because it's the way the brackets were set up. If I had taken A Stone's advice and just picked my top 8 as opposed to listening to the stupid brackets on Wikipedia, I would have had different results. But yeah, Colony F.I.S.T. Here's my thing with F.I.S.T. When they first re-debuted F.I.S.T. back in 2000, it was last year, in July when they put Johnny Gargano in the group. They started off great. They started off winning consistently. Then they kind of dropped off the radar. They didn't really do anything. They were losing all their matches. And it continued that way for like 4 months. Like, we didn't even see Johnny Gargano or Chuck Taylor at the last, like, 2 Chikara shows before this. So, like, I don't know. To me, I like F.I.S.T, but this was definitely unexpected. They were dropped off the radar, which could be a good thing in that you didn't expect them to go this far. But, again, it's kind of a bad thing because you should have built them. Look at the portal. They built the portal to go to the finals. They won all their matches. They even had a fucking DQ finish against the Batiri. Chikara never does DQs because they know they couldn't pin the Batiri or Bodhi because it's the second major storyline in Chikara behind the BDK storyline. They knew they couldn't do that, but they still had the portal win by DQ as opposed to just pinning the portal. That's how important it was for the portal not to lose. And they built them well. F.I.S.T, it was built well, but it could have been built better in my opinion. But this match was great. This was my favorite match of the whole weekend. Tremendous action, kicking out of finishers, which again, never happens in Chikara. So when it does happen, it means something. And for those who saw their 2 out of 3 falls, Hairs versus Mask match, Anniversary of Yang, this match built upon that. Like Chuck Taylor teased putting Soldier through a table with an awful waffle, but Bryce Remsburg moved the table out of the way, saying, "This is not a no DQ match. You can't do that." And they built a lot of spots in the previous match. F.I.S.T continued storyline of cheating. Chuck Taylor brought in the powder. He brought in the chair. He hit Green Ant's arm at the start of the match. The arm that Kanayano fucked up back in August. They used the powder. They used the kick to the balls. They cheated the whole match. But in the end, Chuck Taylor was going to throw powder. Green Ant moved out of the way, and he threw powder. No, Soldier moved out of the way, and he threw powder into Johnny Gargano's face. And then he went to go console Johnny Gargano, and Johnny Gargano super kicked him, thinking that he was Green Ant or Soldier Ant. And then Fire Ant gave Chuck Taylor his special, which is like the thing that Kaz does, where he gives him like a reverse tombstone and drops him on his head. And Soldier Ant, I forgot what Soldier Ant did. Oh, Soldier Ant did a fireman's carry into a stunner. And they went for the double pin, and I thought it was going to end there, but they both kicked out. And then the Colony gave their anthill jump, where the Soldier Ant and Fire Ant form like a bridge, and Green Ant climbs on top of their shoulders and does a splash. They did that. Icarus kicked out, and then Fire Ant and Soldier Ant went to the top rope and put the anthill, and then Green Ant climbed there, and he jumped up. So like his hands were like hitting the roof. He pointed to Larry Sweeney. He gave a dive off the fucking top of Soldier Ant and Fire Ant, who were on top of the turnbuckle, to Icarus for the win, to a humongous pop. Colony are your new King of Trios champions. Gotta admit, did not expect that. Emerald Flosion 62 actually told me he thought they were winning for sure a few weeks ago. So props to him for getting it right. And they had a great show in this whole tournament. And it makes sense, they are the most over team in Chikara. They did just come back from injury. They were in the main event of the first show. They were in the main event of the third show. They were in the semi-main event of the fifth show. It makes sense that they won, in hindsight. They just beat the BDK in the 8-man tag. They beat the BDK in Easton. Then they challenged to Quack and Jig for the titles, but lost. It makes sense. They were being built the whole year as well. Perfectly fine with them winning. If any team was going to win that was not the Osirian Portal, I'm glad it was the Colony. And I wanted the Portal to win because I'm a big fan of the Portal. And I still thought the viral video stuff, even though CCW did take down the video, I still felt like those were 1 million views right there. That could have been, like I said, it was like the Frightmare thing. Frightmare won Rookie of the Year. So you have to make them your Young Lions Cup champions so you can capitalize off that. I thought the same thing here with the Portal. I thought it was still recent enough, even though that viral video thing was like 2 months ago, that they could still get some popularity off of that. But, Colony's great too. I'm perfectly fine with Portal not winning King of Trios this year. And F.I.S.T, I'm fine with them going to the finals. I understand if the Colony was going to win Trios, it should have either been against the BDK or F.I.S.T because of their history with F.I.S.T and the history with the BDK. The one thing that I thought could have enhanced the match was Bryce, because Icarus kept teasing, F.I.S.T kept teasing that they were going to knock out Bryce Remsburg because he kept telling them to stop doing this, stop doing that. I thought they should have knocked him out. Derek Sabato doesn't want to come down, but Wing Vavasaur forces him. You can see Wing Vavasaur pushing Derek Sabato outside and telling him, go, ref. And Sabato goes. He catches F.I.S.T cheating. One time they start cheating. He moves them out of the way. The Colony hits the anthill thing, and then Derek Sabato reluctantly counts the 3 for Colony because he screwed the Colony out of the King of Trios last year. Just my opinion. Just my opinion. BDK would have been the best bet, but with this BDK team, with Jakob, Hammermier, and Delirious, no, that team can't go to the finals. However, the F.I.S.T team works well as well. I just thought the Derek Sabato stuff could have just made the match that much better, is all. But it was still a great match, so how can I complain? 8.75, 2 great matches. A borderline 4-star opener, a borderline 4-star gauntlet match, a really good semifinals match, a great Raid of Villadors, a really good Eddie Kingston match, a really good Manami Tozawa match. The star ratings in the show are insane. I should probably even give it a 9. I don't know why I'm not giving it a 9. Maybe because the great matches weren't great enough. I don't know. But 8.75 out of 10. In my opinion, the best Chikara show all year. Night 3, King of Trios. But like I said, you always have to get all 3 nights of King of Trios. It's a great experience. It's so much fun. Give Chikara a chance. They deserve it. All these 3 nights were awesome. 7.75, 8.25, 8.75. Overall, I'm not going to give it an overall rating like I did last year. I realize now that's kind of a mistake. Did I think overall it was better than last year? My answer is it's around the same. I'm being perfectly honest here. It's about the same. Maybe a little better, maybe a little worse. I'm not sure. It's about the same. So, yeah, definitely recommend overall getting all 3 nights. Thank you. This video was very long. My voice is killing me from talking all this. I'm Big Red 310. I'm out. See ya.